Hey, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to explain to you, is buying a lot of land a good investment? And why you should buy this lot of land, and how buying many lots of lands will make you filthy stinking rich. In this video, I'm going to give you three things. First, my story on why I bought a lot of land as an investment. Two, how I bought this piece of land at a massive discount. And three, how using these simple strategies has massively changed my life. So here's my story. I was an Army officer. It's 2016. I'm always working. I'm always on base by 6 a.m. and I'm leaving at like 7 p.m. And I was ultimately trying to wholesale houses at this time. You always hear it, the easiest way to get started in real estate is wholesale houses. You don't need any money, any credit, but here's what you do need. You need money to send out the mailers, and then you need the time to actually talk to these sellers and meet these sellers and go to their house and spend time with them. Well, I didn't have the time issue. I was able to figure out a way to send them letters and to talk to them over the phone at night or the weekends, but I did not have the time to go and visit these houses because I was working like crazy. I was an Army officer, planning missions, making sure everyone was provided for as far as transportation and ammo and yada yada. I'm not gonna get into my crazy Army job, but I had a lot on my shoulders and I had bosses looking down at me, waiting for me to perform. So I started looking at vacant raw land. I'd heard some podcast episodes of people buying land at crazy massive discounts, and they were buying a lot of land, and sometimes they were buying lots and lots of these lots of lands, and they were buying at massive discounts, and they were turning around and selling them on financing. So that kind of really opened my eyes. An idea was kind of born in my mind, and I started mailing vacant land from that day forward. I already had a list of tax delinquent land, people that were behind on their taxes, they had not paid their taxes on their land, so I mailed out 687 letters to these landowners, and those 687 letters exploded my phone and allowed me the opportunity to buy 2 parcels of land. These 2 parcels of land, I bought one for $400 and one for $285, and I quick flipped them for $5,000 cash, each of them. So I bought one for $285, quick flip for $5,000, and I bought the other one for $400 and a quick flip for $5,000. And this changed my entire thinking, and it eventually changed my life. All right, so what is an actual lot of land? A lot is basically, it could be a dimension of 5,000 square foot or 200 by 200, or it could literally be 5-acre parcel of land. It could mean really anything. A lot is just considered something you can build a house or a cabin or a mobile home on it. That's it. So it's often misconstrued with lots of land. I love the fact of buying lots and lots of lots because it will ultimately make you filthy stinking rich. Because the way you do it is buying the stuff at massive discounts and then turning around and selling it to a buyer that can afford a down payment or an easy monthly payment, or it's just a quick flip like the ones I just mentioned to you, will ultimately give you financial freedom as well as time freedom later on in life. So before I get on to the piece where how land has changed my life financially and time freedom and all these great things, I'd like for you to comment below and tell me what your journey's been. Have you looked at buying a lot of land? Why did you not buy that lot of land? And what's holding you back? And maybe I can help you. I read these, I reply to you. I can literally be your coaching through these comments. So please go ahead. All right. So before I get into how this passive income from land has changed my life and my family's life, and it's allowed me to build a business that serves me and my family and others around me, I want to talk to you about, how I structured these deals. And, generally, I literally did 22 of these deals in my first 12 months. I talked to you a little bit about that first deal for $285 and turned around and sold it for $5,000, and the second one for $400 and turned around for $5,000. I'd like to break down the structure of that a little bit. Why I was so hooked on this. That first parcel for $285. I mean, I hate to mention this now, but it's a little embarrassing. But I'm gonna get vulnerable with you. I can barely even say the word. In 2016, I was pretty broke. I just had my our firstborn son, and we just bought another house in Colorado, and I just moved out to Colorado, and I was spending all this money marketing for houses and That wasn't going too well, but I didn't have a lot of money. And this $285 was a huge chunk of money for me. So I didn't want to just spend it unwisely for this piece of land. So I did a lot of due diligence. And you know what? Here's my free gift to you today. I'll give you my land buying roadmap. It's actually in the description below. Click on it. You'll have my land buying roadmap, and it gives you all the things that I check as far as my due diligence before I purchase a piece of land. But let's get more back into this deal, this $285 parcel of land. Me and my wife drove out to look at this parcel of land on a Saturday morning. It was me, my wife, and my brand new newborn son, and this was about an hour and a half away from us. This land was magnificent. It was so beautiful. It's overlooking the Pike National Forest in Colorado, but there was one problem. It's not buildable. It was not buildable. There's only one ingress and one egress. The same road coming in and the same road going out, and the fire department will not allow you to build because the fire department could get pinned down and they won't be able to get out. So there had to be another road built across the railroad tracks to do this. It would have been multi-millions of dollars, and the city was not allowing it. So I looked at this piece of land. I had no clue what it was worth. I knew it was beautiful. I knew I was paying $285. I was like, this is a no-brainer, but what is it worth? So as we're leaving, we're driving down the hill. I believe that God planted this real estate office for me because I saw the sign and I called, and there was a sweet realtor there. And I asked her, I said, hey, I've got a lot that's not buildable right down the street on Lake Avenue. And she was so familiar with it. She already knew what I was talking about. She said, yeah, here's why it's not buildable. And I said, great. What do you think it's worth? What could I blast this thing out for a 30-day blowout price on the MLS, the multiple listing service? What could you list this thing for me for? She said, I don't know about 30 days, but maybe you could get, about $10,000 over the next 45 days for this land. And I was like, holy cow. $10,000, I'm buying this thing for $285. This is a no-brainer. I hung up the phone with the realtor, thanked her for her time, hung up, and my phone rang in less than 2 minutes. Same realtor calling me back. She said, hey, would you be interested in selling it to me? And I was like, absolutely. What are you offering? She said, I can give you $5,000 for it. And I was just like, I almost dropped the phone. And I said, great, when do you want to close? I had to get my composure back here because I'm about to make a quick $5,000. It took me an entire month to make that. I have maybe an hour and a half into this deal. So I said, when can you close? She said, I can close on Wednesday. And I said, so you'd like 4 days from now? It's Saturday, mind you. She said, yeah, I can close on Wednesday, 4 days from now. I said, great, let's do it. Send me the contract. Hung up the phone with her again, told my wife, and now I call the seller back. I said, hey, Mr. Seller, I'll take the land. Will you meet me on Tuesday? I'll bring you the check. So I bring him the check on Tuesday. He brings me the deed for the land, and I run it down to the title company, and I had my $5,000 check on Wednesday. I never looked back. This changed my life. I actually thought it was too good to be true until I did about the 6th deal. So that's how I was turned around, and I came about this new thinking that I could buy and sell these things. I could buy land from people that don't want it and sell it to people that do want it. And I was hooked. That was it from that day. So I talk about this first deal. Let's talk about the second deal. The second one was where I bought it for $400 and turned around and did a quick flip for $5,000. The third one, I bought a $500 piece of land, and I still remember this lady, this elderly lady. She was probably 85 years old, and we're sitting on her massive porch in Denver, Colorado, and she goes, I still don't know what you want with this godforsaken piece of land. I wrote her a $500 check, and I said, I don't know either. I put this thing on Craigslist that night when I went home, because I wanted to get my $500 back as fast as possible. I had a buyer that night, and this time I did a seller financing deal. I was changing it up a little bit. I had a buyer that night willing to give me $500 down and $400 a month for the next 11 months for a total purchase price of $5,000. For some reason, the first several were $5,000, but this time I had passive income. $400 a month. That's a car payment, guys. That was life-changing money for me anyways. For some people, $400 a month might be the difference between them getting their medication that they need to live. So that was what really changed my life. I knew that I could rinse and repeat this multiple times. And now I have a team that helps me do it. And sometimes we do it 9 times in 1 week. And let me tell you this, I now coach people on how to buy and sell land, buy it at massive discounts, and turn around and sell it for passive premium retail prices. I teach people now how to do this and to give them the lifestyle of their dreams, to be able to have time freedom and financial freedom and even geography freedom, which now I have. So if you're interested in that, go down the link description below, open it up and click on thelandsharks.com and fill out that form.